A level of uncertainty spells the current situation for a player such as Greg Ward at the wide receiver position, all in due to the current offseason moves that the Eagles have made in terms of upgrading weapons for Jalen Hurts. Now, this leads into another conversation as to which can we justify having a roster spot for Greg Ward to remain at. Let's talk about it. What is up, Bird brothers and sisters? Lindy Endzone is in for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles. One video at a time. And don't mind me as I'm continuing to work with this setup here a little bit, as I think the last time I made a video, it may have been a little bit too close for my liking. Noticing some, a little bit of extra oomph in the volume of my voice going on through the microphone. So, periodically through some of the content, you may see some adjustment, but nonetheless, thank you for viewing another piece of content that I'm adding to the channel here. And we're going to talk about a little bit of, does this spell the end for Greg Ward, or do we feel that he still has a spot on the 53-man roster? But before we get into it, of course, thank you for the continued support to the channel as we are climbing our way up to 300, which is that current milestone that I have for the channel. And as well as be sure to give a look out to the Linc'd In Podcast, hosted by Philly Jim and I over on his channel. You can find it there. And for Sideline Sports, every Friday at 8 p.m., 10 episodes approaching. We will be doing a special call-in show this Friday for episode 10 of Linc'd In. So, if you would like to appear, then take the opportunity and do so. But without further ado, let's get into some conversation about Greg Ward Jr. Well, it's kind of unfortunate that he has been up and down on this football team, and between some actual usage and being thrown to the wayside a little bit. As between 2020 and 2021, we have seen his snap count diminish from 70% all the way down to 22. Last year, only getting 11 targets, catching 7 of them. Some little special teams contribution here and there, as he coined the phrase Greg Fair Catch Ward, as he really does not supply or provide any kind of explosive value to special teams when it comes to kickoff and punt returns. Well, where does that leave him in terms of the 53-man roster? Well, as it stands, typically a lot of NFL teams nowadays keep either 5 or 6, depending if that 6th man is primarily going to be special teams, as the Eagles could very well go down that route with the speedy individuals that they brought in between Britton Covey and the Olympic track star and Devin Allen, who became the third fastest runner in that hurdle not too long ago that we had witnessed. And you already know he's got a lot of attention on him now to see what he can do in the midst of training camp approaching in about 2.5 weeks on the 26th. And then you look at the rest of the depth chart here, and, it's no question that Greg has been pushed quite a ways back. When you got your, potential 3-headed monster on paper, right now it's a 3-headed monster on paper, if you want to include Quez Watkins in the conversation. But, of course, I'm talking about Quez, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. And then behind those 3, you got guys like Zach Pascal, Jalen Reagor. Yes, he's still here, Uh, take of that what you will. Greg Ward Jr., Deion Kane, John Hightower, Britton Covey, and Devin Allen, as we had mentioned, and Carrick Wheatfall and Josh Hammond, who I believe the Eagles have claimed from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not much to talk about in terms of when you get into the deeper depth at the receiver position here, because it's all about what you got up top. Now we know guys like Deion Kane were making a name for themselves during OTAs, and while it's not much to talk about until training camp arrives and the practices and whatnot through that bulk up, and we see a little more 11 on 11s instead of just 7 on 7s. I don't know. This is a tough one to me because you can certainly make a legitimate case that, well, Greg Ward might not make it solely because of his lack of explosiveness. Now, being that he was a former quarterback, he kind of knows the ins and outs, specifically through the knowledge of being under center and looking for receivers. He kind of knows, where to be in terms of the knowledge of dissecting a defense. And we had known him to do this quite a bit in the last few years in being a favorite target for Carson Wentz when, well, his security blankets weren't available. But, well, for whatever reason, between Shane Steichen and Coach Sirianni, they really couldn't figure out any kind of answer or way of utilizing Greg Ward Jr.'s services. Now, does that change with the team being in a consistent offense for a second year in a row? You can make a case for that point in due to Sirianni and Steichen continuing to develop a game plan going forward with what they want to do from an offensive standpoint. There's a little bit of a benefit there. However, like I said, I could make a case that, Greg might not see a spot, solely to the fact that he has a lack of explosiveness to his game. Whereas you have a little more flexibility in terms of, packages that you can put in specific situations where, you just want to get, just when you want to beat take the top off a defense and have more than one speed threat on the field. Whereas, well, Greg Ward was very good in the short to intermediate area, working out of the slot. As of right now, not exactly sure what we are going to do at the slot position when we know that Quez can play it. You may be able to throw Rager in there. Greg Ward definitely can. Well, I think that's going to be the thing going forward is, well, I think Greg Ward Jr., as an undrafted rookie, a former quarterback that turned receiver, I think this is the point where he has reached his ceiling in terms of capability. Now, that's not to say guys like Britton Covey and Devin Allen have not done that. Well, let's remember, Devin Allen hasn't played football in about 6 or 7 years. And him coming off of the Olympics and being away from football that long at 29 years old, it may be the case for him. Britton Covey, he's still young into this game. So being that you have a mixture of a veteran player who has stepped away from the game for quite some time and, a guy in Britton Covey that's just getting into this, well, the little bit of, that veteran experience to what Greg Ward possesses and being in this offense, that is the top benefit that he has. But, well, at the same time, special teams, it can come back to haunt him, especially when we just got done talking about that most teams only keep 5 to 6 receivers. And you think at least four of them are most likely a lock if you want to put Zach Pascal in the conversation, being that that's Sirianni's guy. He's not going to want Zach on the practice squad. we know that much so. But, well, it's tough. It's tough because I know it's for a while. I know that Greg was a fan favorite for some of the heroic catches that he has made for go-ahead touchdowns, and that turned out to be game winners. And well, this at this point in the Eagles' seasons coming in 2022, with how top heavy they are at receiver this time, this very may well spell the end for him. Especially, like I said, when us going back to the snap count going from 70 to 22%. Last year, only getting 11 targets. The play callers really had no idea, what to do with them, how to use them. Not much involvement in special teams, and now it's a little more elevated that you have a group of guys that are more capable in terms of explosiveness. Special teams was the weakest link on the Eagles in terms of a phase on the football field. That was the weakest. It was the most pathetic. We got no value out of that group. So that's the direction that the Eagles are going to try and go in, is try and get some points or try and have more opportunities to get better field position. And, well, as for fair catch Ward, we obviously know we're not going to see that. And I don't know. Like I said, this may spell the end for him. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments on the fate of a roster spot for Greg Ward. Does he make the final 53? Does he get relegated to the practice squad like he has been before as a veteran? I don't know. I have a feeling he's going to get to. I have a feeling that he's going to be put on the practice squad solely because they want more explosiveness, not just on offense but in special teams. So those are my thoughts. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And until next time, well, I got something in the works that you guys may have to peep on the channel and take a look for yourselves. Nothing is finalized as of right now. Got a few more things to take care of before it happens, but nonetheless, be on the lookout for something special this week. But that's it for me, everybody. Fly Eagles fly, bleed green. This has been Lindy Endzone, taking the lead for the Eagles one more video at a time. Take care, everybody. Have a good night, and I will see you next time.